How do we create an equitable world in RMIT for our students? Here are the 7 steps. Step 1. Register with the Equitable Learning Services.
Hello everyone, my name is Tu. I'm working at RMIT as an Equitable Learning Services Advisor in Hanoi campus. My work involves providing adjustment to students with a wide range of conditions, both in the English and undergraduate programs. Students who want to register with the ELS have to come for an initial discussion, and they also have to provide supporting documents. Based on the contents of the initial discussion and their supporting documents, I will identify reasonable adjustments for their classrooms and assessments. All of the adjustments will be put into an equitable learning plan. After the student has agreed with their equitable learning plan, I will send it out to the school so that lecturers and course coordinators could implement it.
Step 2. Implement the Equitable Learning Plan.
Hello everyone, my name is Nguyen. I'm the lecturer at the Tourism and Hospitality Management program under the School of Business and Management. Last semester, I had a course which is called Food and Beverage Management course, which is a very practical course requiring a lot of visuals ability. Hence, for a visually impaired student, which is a student in my class, I was very afraid that she won't be able to fully comprehend and appreciate the course. Henceforth, with the guidance from ELS, I was able to make some adjustments. For example, one of the assignments was to require the students to visit a coffee shop and observe the service scheme. However, for this student, it would be a bit more difficult because the student is visually impaired. So I and the ELS advisor came up with the idea that we would adjust the assignment where the student, instead of observing the service scheme, would write a reflections through her conversations, one-on-one conversations with the manager to understand whether there are any support for the disabled community in this coffee shop and how to improve it in the future. And why I was adjusting this assignment, I think the hardest part was to make sure that I stayed true to the learning objectives of the course and at the same time maintaining the academic integrity.
Step 3. Convert accessible materials.
My name is Nguyen. I am currently a librarian at RMIT Vietnam Library. I'm in charge in collection development at the moment. So in my roles, I mainly work with students that have sensory impairments, and sometimes they have other requests from other students about readings difficulties. So all I need to do is just to support them in converting materials into their requirements. Most of them they require to be to convert the materials into a Microsoft Word format, but the actual work is not done by me. The actual work is being done by RMIT Melbourne Library, and I am just the liaison that liaises between US students and RMIT Melbourne Library. Students need to be proactively contact me, letting me know their courses that they enrolled. So I have to go to Canvas, search for readings available on Canvas courses, collecting them, and send requests to RMIT Melbourne.
Step 4. Provide student aid support.
I'm Barbree Ngoc, and I'm a third-year student majoring in interpreting and translating. I'm also employed as a student at Equitable Learning Services. So at RMIT, I support different kinds of students. Some they has visual impairment, some they has low hearing, and the other just had neurodiverse. So the kind of support we give to them is different. For students with visual impairment, we had to pay attention to the notes content. For example, some students they prefer having notes in their in their notes, but then I had to check whether the table I created is accessible and is available in different devices. But for students with low hearing, we had to pay attention when we communicate with them. We used simple grammar, we talk slowly, and don't open your mouth too big because it may be too offensive. And last, for the student with neutral diverse, because they can't remember things long, so in the note I had to write long sentence, not just the terminology or the keyword. At the end of the day, we had to know about the needs to support that to the best way.
Step 5. Liaise with and train educators.
I'm Barbree. I'm in the School of English and University Pathways, and I'm the Learning and Teaching Lead Hanoi, and I'm currently acting in the ELS liaison role, which is helping connect our teachers in SEUP to the ELS department of MIT. In my role as ELS liaison, I work with SEUP teachers and RMIT ELS department, and it's about helping our teachers set up their students for an equitable learning experience. So for that, it's focusing on advocating for themselves as much as they can. For our teachers, it's about interpreting and applying ELPs in a way that makes sense for their teaching style and makes sense for our courses and their student. Supporting their conversations that they have with students and finding out really what works best. Communicating, teaching and assessment accommodations, addressing, researching, referring as needs arise from specific experiences that our students have. And really just helping all of our teaching that we do in SEUP being accessible and equitable and inclusive for all students, regardless of whether they have an ELP or not.
Step 6. Communicate and don't make assumptions.
So the communications with the Equitable Learning Services is extremely crucial for me, because I think that there are a variety of disabilities, and some of which are actually very unfamiliar with the publics. And also for those that are a bit more common, I think that we shouldn't treat that with common sense assumptions. And for me as a lecturer, I would expect proper training from the professionals so that I could provide the students with disability with the best and most comfortable learning environment.
I think the biggest myth about teaching students with disabilities is that there's one way to do it or one way to address each different condition, when that's really not the case. Each student is so unique and their situation is so different that it's really about addressing individual students' needs. And the best way to do that is to find out what those are and find out what the student knows about how to best address them, instead of a standardized approach for all teaching.
Step 7. Innovate these steps every day.
I believe that RMIT Vietnam has been organizing a lot of events and campaigns to make the community, RMIT communities, aware of the US support. This is my idea, like why don't we just open it to all the communities outside RMIT Vietnam, so make people aware of that students with disabilities has the equal chance to learn, but they need extra services.
In an educational context, there's so much that could be made accessible and inclusive automatically. Things like content delivery, communication channels, even facilities can be accessible and should be accessible and inclusive without students having to ask for it. RMIT is miles ahead of anywhere else I've ever worked in this regard, but it would be great to see that extend into the whole university, the whole country, the whole education sector, just to make sure that students don't have to ask for these accommodations, they just have them.
Celebrating the International Day of Persons with Disabilities is an opportunity for all of us to get to know more about disability, not only those easily seen, but also those invisible conditions, such as mental health or learning challenges. I invite you to visit the EOS office and have a chat with us so that we can learn about each other better and together promote an accessible education environment for everyone.
If you have any questions or would like to get in contact with Equitable Learning Services, please email equitablerlearning@rmit.edu.vn or call 028 3522 4432 or book an appointment via ServiceNow.